Hello, good evening to one and all. Welcome to our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. Welcome to International Free Webinar. Thank you all for joining us today. Thanks for joining us in this wonderful evening. My lovely audience today, I am your host for the evening. My name is Maria Cristina Asbucan, and I am a teacher. I am from the Philippines. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, dear audience, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel honored and privileged to host this webinar. It's my delight to welcome you all to our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. Thank you all for joining us today in this marvelous evening. It is my humble request and pleasure to all of you to stay with us until the end, for I am sure all of you will have many takeaways, and payoffs from this webinar. Okay. Each time you can like and comment in our webinar. Don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in the comment box. So let's watch together and learn together. We believe that power is gained by sharing knowledge, not hoarding it. Once again, my name is Maria Cristina Asbucan, core volunteer member in IGP from the Philippines. Every day, okay, let me just give a background. Every day, many new participants join with us, so I have to give a little concept about IGP. IGP is an institution of global professionals serves students and community resources, providing holistic social work and education for creating a proficient generation. IGP is a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. IGP is entrusted with international recognition. Now, before starting our program, let me tell you about IGP once more. Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institution that provides social work. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultations to generate proficient generation all over the world. Institute of Global Professional is an educational institution that provides social work globally recognized. We organize our webinar trainings, online, offline courses, etc. by best and trained speaker coaches from all over the world to create the best learning platform for all of you. Our vision is to empower people and enhance them. We have already completed 378 webinars this year, and this webinar, free webinar, is number 379. We expect that you will gain a lot from this webinar tonight. Okay. Let me remind you again, don't forget to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends in the comment box below because your attachment encourages us to do better and give the best services to our lovely audience. Our mission is to empower our youth and all of you to stay with us by your support. Okay, let's welcome one and all. Okay, so today we are presenting the webinar number 379 on the topic Teaching Style Spectrum. Okay, and our speaker for tonight is Mr. Mark R. Maglake, LPT, MAED, of the Department of Education from the Senior High School Department. We welcome Sir Mark R. Maglake, LPT MAED of the Philippines. Sir.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Sir Mark R. Maglake. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to our global audience. It's my pleasure to be here in our global platform within this free international webinar 379. And we're going to feed our skills tonight. That is our mantra for IGP. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
welcoming me, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you as well. So,
Okay.
um, before we start with our program, let me remind the audience that please please share to your friends, tag us, and share our IGP, and all of us will be able to learn together. So enjoy. Thank you so much, sir. And ready na, sir? Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I am ready. Can I share my screen now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Please
Okay,
share your screen.
let me start our session.
Okay.
So our topic for tonight is all about the teaching styles of mathematics teachers, its correlation to students' academic achievement. And before we start our session, I would like to introduce myself. I am Sir Mark R. Maglake. I am connected to the Department of Education, Secondary School Teacher 3 at Dapdap High School, Senior High School Mathematics teacher. I am also the subject area head in mathematics. I am also a part-time professor at Mabalacat City College in the Philippines, handling BSEd students. I am also a part-time faculty member of Tarlac State University College of Teacher Education. Specifically, I'm handling laboratory school for grade 11 STEM students. I am also inclined to research, and I am also an innovator at the Department of Education, Division of Tarlac Province. I am also a resources speaker and panelist to many research colloquium. I am currently studying Doctor of Philosophy major in Mathematics Education at the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology. I graduated Master of Arts in Education major in Mathematics at Tarlac State University with a thesis title Teaching Styles of Mathematics Teachers Correlation to Students' Academic Achievement. Graduated Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Mathematics at Mabalacat City College. I graduated magna cum laude. Now, I would like to acknowledge the following. First and foremost, the overall technical working group of the Institute of Global Professionals, Dr. Kaushik Datta, Director and Founder of Institute of Global Professionals. Of course, Dr. Ronaldo A. Pozon, Cesofalo, Augusto Ballesteros, Education Program Supervisor 1, Ma'am Queenie Ann J. Palafox, SEPS of Planning and Principal, my loving principal, Dr. Ariel B. Scales, the head of Benigno S. Aquino National High School, Dr. Renaldo A. Polson, the head of the junior high school and the senior high school, Madam Marilyn Arcilla, the Dean of the Institute of Arts, Sciences, Technology, and Education, Dr. Jasper J. N. Mendoza, Tarlac State University, Professor Paulo Xavier B. Samson, the chairperson of Tarlac State University, Professor Paulo Xavier B. Samson, the chairperson of Tarlac State University School Study, and of course my Mabalacat City College students. So I would like to share with you the abstract of the paper that I wrote, the research paper. It's about the teaching styles of mathematics achievement. So the presentation is all about research. This is my to share my expertise in the field of mathematics, and I am an advocate of how do we strengthen research in the field of education because I'd like to believe that research is very important, especially now that we are in the education 4.0. I know it's a new term for some of us in the educational landscape, but I think we have to open ourselves to this education 4.0 because here we can discover a lot of characteristics, not just within the perspective of a teacher, but also the perspective of our learners. And one of the characteristic of our learners is they are said to be technologically savvy and a lot more. So it's very important that as teachers, we have to understand the power of research, okay? Because humans are naturally curious about anything and everything. We always ask questions and test theories about ourselves, others, events, the environment, and the world around us. Research is definitely asking questions and looking for answers to these questions. We are already engaging ourselves into research when we are looking for and into something, when we are comparing and contrasting things, when we are searching for more information, and when we are finding what people think and want. So let us just have an idea about research. It came from the French word searcher, which means seek. The prefix re means to repeat. So literally, research is to repeat looking for something. Research signifies finding the truth, again, about ideas and problems which were in existence before in different perspective. Therefore, the end goal or the telos, that's a philosophical term. That what is the telos of research? That is when we look into the concept of truth. Okay, that is the essence of research. And so it's very important that as teachers, what are the goals of research? Number one, of course, for innovation. This is our advocacy in the Philippines. We want to strengthen not only action research, but also basic research and applied research. First and foremost, because of innovation. And what is this innovation all about? Because we want to engage in what we call improvement. Improvement not only within the infrastructures, but also within the entire educational processes. Okay, and then aside from innovation, improvement, what else? We are doing research because we are looking into some inventions, right? So without the research, there will be no such inventions. The applications of the scientific laws and scientific theories are useless without the concept of research. And believe me or not, one of the goal of research as well is to inspire. I am doing this advocacy for how many years? For 10 years, because I want to inspire students because we are educators, and as educators, we are said to be catalysts of change. And decisions. We are doing research because this will be the layground or the basis for decisions. And lastly, one of the goal of research is for development. We are doing research because we wanted to highlight this what we call development. Education is not technical in nature. It is developmental in nature. We want to develop our teachers. We wanted to develop our students, not just within their mind, not just within their heart, their hands, but it should be holistic. I already mentioned this during the first talk about philosophy, that it's very important that there has to be an harmony within the head, the heart, and the hands. It should be holistic in perspective. And so allow me to discuss to you and share to you the abstract of my study. So the search for new teaching styles in teaching has been the trend for educational research, particularly in mathematics. So this study investigated the teaching styles of mathematics teachers and its correlation to students' academic achievement. The respondents of the study were complete enumeration of 11 mathematics teachers and 2,684 students of the top high school in the district of Bamban, Tarlac. A teaching style survey questionnaire served as the instrument in determining the teaching styles of mathematics teachers. So actually, the instrument was validated by the mathematics teachers. It also passed the reliability test, which is equivalent to 98%. The results in the third periodic examinations were used to determine the level of academic achievement of students in mathematics. So here I applied the documentary analysis for the results of the periodic examinations. And then along the way, problem solving style had a significant relationships to students' academic achievement with a computed R negative 0.774 and a significance which was within the alpha level of zero point zero 0.05. This further means that the null hypothesis was in the rejection area. This was because mathematics teachers often use problem solving style. The students got low scores when teachers use the problem solving style. Students got higher scores when teachers use other teaching styles. Hence, it is evident that mathematics teachers should improve the following: ask questions that require varying levels of thinking, which is recalling, analysis, synthesis. Ask the students to generate their own explanations and justify their thinking. Describe my approach, similar to a manager who delegates tasks and responsibilities in solving a particular problem and encourages students to be systematic in formulating meaningful solutions. Teachers must also participate in seminars and workshops to improve their problem solving style in order to cater the needs of the students. And for the entirety of the findings and the result of this paper, it was revealed in the study that majority of the teaching styles were not significant in the increase of students' academic achievement. Mathematics teachers then should be reflective and responsible on the suitability of using this teaching style. This is the abstract of the paper, but let us dig deeper to the parts of the paper. The introduction of the paper is this one. Teachers develop a teaching style based on their beliefs about what constitutes good teaching, personal preferences, their abilities, and the norms of a particular discipline. Okay. Uh, by the way, let me just give emphasis to the differences of approach, because these are some of the questions when we are dealing with the principles of teaching, right? What is the difference between approach, methodology, strategy, and teaching style or teaching technique? When we are dealing with teaching approach, it pertains to ideas. Okay, these ideas can be a set of philosophies, principles, or beliefs in learning and teaching. Okay, so they are deemed very important as they serve as the foundation of classroom teaching in general. So it often defines what kind of educator you are. Okay, that is what we call teaching approach. So what are the examples of teaching approach? So you can be more of a teacher that is teacher centered, subject matter centered, teacher dominated. You do a banking approach, guided approach, learner centered approach, interactive, and collaborative approach. Okay, now the next one is teaching methodology or teaching method. Okay, what is teaching method? Once the course objectives are set, the teacher then decides on a plan on how to achieve the goals. Teaching method pertains to the systematic way of accomplishing the task in general. So what are the examples of teaching method? So we can have direct method, lecture method. Okay, some of the teachers do this lecture method. Another example is demonstration method or group methods. Okay. Next is teaching strategy. What is teaching strategy? In every lesson plan, there is a certain procedure that needs to be followed to accomplish the introduced task. In order to do this, the teacher chooses the best teaching strategy for a particular goal. Some of the examples of teaching strategies are the following. Of course, we have the inquiry-based strategy, the differentiated instruction strategy, and the cooperative learning strategy. So these are what we call strategies. Okay. The last one is the teaching style or the teaching technique. Okay. So after defining the methods the teacher needs to decide on how to complete specific tasks. So teaching style, hence, is used to showcase the well-defined procedures and the personal style of the teacher to carry out a specific method or strategy. Okay? So let's have a situational example for this so that we can clarify the differences. Okay? So let's say we have an elementary teacher for grade 6 students. Okay. Teacher Anna, let's say we have teacher Anna believes that every student needs to be adaptable to new people and environment. She is guided by, let's say, collaborative approach. Okay, so that is the approach. Hence, she has chosen to use group demonstration methods to achieve her lesson objectives. She assigned problem. So proceeding before proceeding to the uh, main activities, you have to set first your approach, your strategies, your methods, and your style. So you can come up with the uh, peer teaching, something like that. So in short, these are different, no, in comparing this kind of terms in the educational language. Okay, so but basically, when we are dealing with teaching style, it's the specification of this what we call approaches, methods, and strategies. Okay, and basically teachers develop a teaching style based on their beliefs about what constitutes good teaching, personal preferences, their abilities, and the norms of a particular discipline. Okay, teaching style is illustrated by those personal qualities and attitudes that appear directing many classes. In learning the context of mathematics, it can be made easier and exciting if the curriculum includes meaningful mathematical activities that can absolutely encourage and motivate students as alert and help them develop clarity in their cognitive thinking. As what I have mentioned before in my previous talk, that as math teachers, we have to provide menu for our students when it comes to mathematical activities because there is this correlation as well to their performance, academic performance, not only to academic achievement. And by providing this meaningful mathematical activities, we can encourage them, we can motivate them. Okay. And the emphasis on the proper selection of teaching style can improve the learning achievement of students in the very foundation of studying mathematics. If a teacher failed to recognize a suitable teaching style, the students develop a fear for the subject as the student moves on to the higher classes. There is this kind of fear, okay, especially in the field of mathematics. So as teachers, we have to be careful in choosing what kind of style are we going to implement inside the classroom because that is crucial to the motivation of our students, because there are a lot of researches that if our teaching style is not really parallel to the learning needs of our students, it can elicit this what we call fear, or they call it mathematical anxiety or mathematics anxiety. Okay, so we have to be careful in dealing with our teaching styles. Now, the teaching styles of mathematics teacher play an important role in shaping our students' perceptions, okay, and for the entire performance and achievement of our students. Mathematics teachers at all grade levels are not faced with the problems of providing method for classes of students who have different background abilities and learning styles. In response to these perennial problems, educators have explored, devised, and introduced a number of possible teaching styles to make student learning effective, meaningful, and lasting. So, in the World Economic Forums of the Global Competitiveness Report for 2011 and 2012, the Philippines only ranked 115 out of the 142 countries in the perceived quality of mathematics and science education, while the Asian neighbor Singapore topped the list with Taiwan ranking 5th place, Hong Kong 11th, and South Korea 12th. Attempts must therefore be done to look for methods that can raise the level of mathematics achievement. So in line with this, okay, the study focused on the teaching style of mathematics teachers as it affects students' academic achievement. In order to improve teaching quality and develop its usefulness, consideration must be paid to the suitability of the teacher's teaching styles versus the student's learning style, which show a significant part in how much knowledge the learners can achieve from the material offered in class. Okay, so the rationale for this research is to discern the different teaching styles of mathematics teachers as it affects the students' academic achievement towards mathematics. So learning, we can say that learning mathematics is tough for many, but with the help of assessing one's teaching style, teachers that are implementing the instruction inside the classroom will become more flexible and competent in teaching the beauty of mathematics. So here are the statement of the problem. So the study determined the teaching styles of mathematics teachers and its correlation to students' academic achievement of the high school in the district of Bamban. Specifically, this study sought to answer the following questions. Number one, SOP, what are the teaching styles do the mathematics teachers possess in terms of, so we have here the general category for teaching styles. We have the expert, we have the facilitator, and we have the delegator. For expert, we have the direct instruction, we have the communication style. For the facilitator, we have the collaborative style, and then we have the ICT based teaching. Then for delegator, we have the individual style and the problem solving style. For the SOP number 2, we are answering this question: what are the level of academic achievement of students in the third periodic examination in mathematics? And SOP number 3, is there a significant relationship between the teacher's teaching styles and the student's level of academic achievement in mathematics? And number 4, the very essence of this paper is to answer this question: what is the implication of the study in mathematics education? Now, we have this hypothesis. In this particular paper, I have included this hypothesis. To work out the solutions to the problems of this study, the researcher hypothesized that there is no significant relationship between the teacher's teaching styles and the academic achievement of the students in mathematics. Now, the significance of this study, of course, the junior and the senior high school students. The findings of this study are significant to them as basis to increase their academic performance, not just within their academic achievement, and to promote positive discipline in the core study of mathematics through proper assessment of teaching styles. Aside from the junior and the senior high school students, we have also the teachers. They will be guided as to which teaching style within the instruction they are going to use inside the classroom. They will become more flexible. Of course, we have the principal. They will be able to suggest, implement various technique and strategy in teaching mathematics, along with their observations of the teachers in concretizing the mathematical learning of students. We also have the school administrators. The findings of this study are significant to them as basis for developing or enhancing their school plans. I think this is also important for school administrators because they will give more support and training to teachers so that they can diagnose the learning difficulties of their students. Of course, we do also have the curriculum planners. It may help them in redirecting the attention of the future research efforts to promote adequate understanding of the mathematics teaching and learning. Thus, this can improve Filipino students' achievement and be comparable to international standards. And of course, our future researchers. Okay. Now, the scope and delimitation of the study. So we have here the high school. Okay, this is in the within the timeline of 2018, 2019. I'm just sharing to you what is the findings or the result of this study. Okay, so that we can learn some implication in the mathematics education. I included here the junior and the senior high school math teachers, and there were 2,684 students. I came up with this purposive sampling. It's a complete enumeration. The study focused on the teaching styles of mathematics teacher, correlations to students' academic achievement in mathematics. So the teaching style survey was validated and it passed through the reliability testing using the Cronbach's Alpha. The result was 0.990. Okay. And the dry run or the pilot testing of the questionnaire was given to the San Roque National High School teachers. Okay. Which are not primarily included in the study because that is the protocol in the dry run or the pilot testing of the questionnaire. Let's proceed with the definition of terms. So in the study, we're going to encompass the term academic achievement. So in this study, it refers to the third periodic examination scores in mathematics. And then, of course, we also have this kind of styles, okay, as we can define them. We have the communication style. So in this study, this refers to strategies in which the teacher connect and exchange information with his or her student using mother tongue, Filipino, English in the teaching and learning process. So in general, it is under the expert category of teaching styles. Another definition of term is the collaborative style. So as teachers, we can have this kind of style. Okay. So in this study, this refers to the manner of teaching that students work together in groups, usually within the aim of finishing a specific task. In general, it is under the delegator category of teaching styles. Okay, so aside from communication style, this is also important as teachers. We have to give or elicit this kind of collaborative style. Okay, and we also have this delegator. This is the category. Okay, this term refers to the category of teaching style concerned with developing students' capacity to function in an independent way. So in this study, it refers to the individual style and the problem-solving style. Okay. So for delegator category in this paper, we have this specific teaching styles. We have the individual and the problem-solving style. For the direct instruction in this study, it is the teacher-directed style, meaning that the teacher stands in front of a class and discuss the content. So in general, it is under the expert category of teaching styles. So direct instruction is at some point is uh, related to lecture based kind of style of the teacher. So meaning the teacher is the giver of knowledge. Okay, so that's the meaning of direct instruction here in the paper. So the teacher stands in front of the class and discuss the content. Okay, now let's talk about expert. Expert is another category. Okay. This term refers to the category of teaching style that attempts to develop the skill among students by displaying detailed knowledge and by motivating students to enhance their competence. So in this study, it refers to the direct instruction and communication style. So I think communication style was already discussed a while ago, the proper use of the language. So as teachers, we have to be careful, okay, as we communicate to our learners, because our words can make or break the motivation of our learners. Okay, so another specific teaching style under expert category is the direct instruction. Again, direct instruction is you as the teacher, you stand in front of the class and you discuss the content. Okay, so you master the subject matter or the lesson. Okay, so next, we have facilitator. So facilitator is another category of teaching style that emphasize the personal nature of teacher-student connections. So in this study, it refers to collaborative and ICT-based style. So ICT-based style, it refers to the use of information and communications technology to sustain, improve, and optimize the delivery of instruction. So in general, it is under the facilitator category of teaching style. So as facilitators of learning, we just provide the meaningful activities to our students and let them perform inside the classroom. Okay, so I think that is very important. That is why we have here collaborative and ICT based style. For ICT based style, you can use a lot of softwares, just like what I am doing in my mathematics class. I am using a lot of softwares like the uh, GeoGebra and the uh, other mathematical softwares. Okay, the Desmos. So Desmos and GeoGebra are used particularly in graphing. So you can use this for pre-calculus subject, or you can use this in general mathematics or some sort of calculus. Okay, we can also have the PET simulation for science subjects, specifically in physics. Okay, so those are what we call ICT based style. For research, we can use the SPSS, the statistical package for social sciences, so that we can actually explore a lot of options, so that we can actually avoid that kind of laborious activities upon our computations or statistical computations. Okay, so these softwares are really part of the instruction that we can provide along with our style, so that basically we can elicit the motivation of our learners. Okay, because let's face the reality, we are now in the education 4.0. This is basically a part of my introduction a while ago. We are now encountering students that are technologically savvy, meaning to say their attention is very limited. So every day should be a magic. We have to provide a lot of meaningful activities. And one of this that we have to elicit along with our educative process is by employing this what we call ICT-based style. Now, we have also this what we call individual style. So in this study, it refers to the manner of teaching in which content and pace of learning are centered upon the skills and interests of each learner. So in general, it is under the delegator category of teaching styles. Okay? So it's very important that we also allow our learners to have this kind of individual mindset upon their solutions in mathematics. Of course, it's good that we do have this what we call collaborative work, because that is the K to 12 curriculum or the enhanced basic education curriculum. But even though that is the spectrum of this K to 12, we have to understand that our learners should solve problems, mathematical problems, individually, so that they can develop this what we call sense of independence. Okay, so one, as what I have mentioned in my previous talk, we have to develop within our learners that sense of responsibility and accountability as well, and that is when we employ this kind of individual style. Okay, so in this study, it refers to the manner of teaching in which content and pace of learning are centered upon the skills and interests of each learner. Okay, just like what we are doing now in the present pandemic time. How do we apply individual style when we are actually giving a lot of self-directed activities within the modules that we are giving to them? So I think some of the teachers are not agree with the main essence of doing modular distance learning. But if we allow ourselves to understand and to discuss to our learners the importance of individual learning, then they will be able to develop that kind of sense of independence within their learning. So we have to motivate them to solve different problems, to discover. Di ba? That is the concept of the inquiry-based instruction. I think this was discussed before by the other presenters in the IGP, the meaning of the inquiry-based approach. We have to allow our students to discover contents, other topics within themselves. That is what we call individual style. And then, of course, one of the definition of term in this paper is pedagogy. So pedagogy, it refers to the collaborations between teachers, students, and the learning environment and the learning activities. Okay, so this is the collaboration between the teachers, the students, and the learning environment and the learning activities. So there has to be parallelism to these people, okay, including the material that we are giving to our students. Okay, so this broad term includes the teaching styles implemented in the classroom. So I think the combination of what I have mentioned a while ago, the approaches, the methods, the strategies, the styles or the techniques are within this what we call pedagogy. Now we also have this ppsd in the paper. It was emphasized that I am very particular with the DepEd order, the Department of Education order series of 42 2017, under the implementation of the K to 12, or also known as the Philippines Professional Standards for teachers. So the PPST shall be used as the basis for all learning and development programs for teachers to ensure that they are properly equipped to effectively implement the K to 12 program. Okay. So in this study, the researcher focused only to domain one, content, knowledge, and pedagogy in the construction of the teaching style survey. That's the reason why I defined a while ago the concept of pedagogy, because it was included in the standards of teachers that we are using in the Philippines, or known as the ppsd. Before, ppsd is what we call ncbts. Formerly it was known to be ncbts, but now it was uh, changed to ppsd, okay, which is now the basis not only for learning but also in the field of teaching, okay. And then we also have the problem solving style. It refers to the process of working through details of a problem to reach a solution. So it includes mathematical or organized operations and can improve individuals' higher order thinking skills. In general, it is under the delegator category of teaching styles. Let's proceed with the related literature. So I included here some of the literatures and studies that we can uh, establish in the context of this research. So according to Gracia 1996, teaching style is perceived as a specific arrangement of needs, principles, and actions that teachers show in the classroom. Okay. You also mentioned that style is multi-sided and can affect how teachers display information, communicate with learners, facilitate classroom tasks, supervise projects, mingle students to the school, and guide students. So the study was conducted to determine the effect of teaching and learning styles on the students' academic achievement in general chemistry 1. So for instance, this is a related study, okay, which is it talks about teaching and learning styles of students in general chemistry 1. So there were 13 teachers and 123 students who were administered the teaching style instrument and the learning style inventory. So final grades of the students were taken as evidence of their academic achievement. Findings revealed that teaching styles were transitional or significant in the teaching methods, student grouping, room design, teaching environment, teaching characteristics, and educational philosophy. So another study was conducted by Stanford 2014, entitled The Effects of Teachers' Teaching Styles and Experience on Elementary Students' Mathematical Achievement. So the study investigated if a significant difference existed between the mathematical achievement of elementary students in classrooms led by teachers with different dominant teaching styles and changing years of teaching experience. The respondents in the study included 29 elementary teachers in an urban public school system located in central Arkansas and 855 students. What is the finding of this study? Findings of this study revealed that mathematical scores of students in classrooms with teachers using facilitator and delegator teaching styles were significantly higher than the scores of students in classrooms of teachers using expert, formal authority, and personal model teaching styles. Because I think here it is manifested that if a teacher is really using that kind of learner-centered styles inside the classroom, there will be such a significant effect within the or significant improvement within the academic achievement of the learners. Here is the conceptual framework of the study. Again, we are dealing with the expert category, the facilitator, and the delegator. So we are looking into the correlation of these teaching styles to where the students' academic achievement. And of course, we need to come up, as we come up with this correlation, if there is a significant relationship, is to impart the implication to mathematics education. So the research design, so the researcher used descriptive correlational, which systematically focus in the collection, analysis, and interpretation of data on the given population. So I use descriptive correlational. The respondents, the subject of this study, were 11 mathematics teachers who had served for 2 years and more in their profession. And we have 2,684 students from the high school in the district of Bamban. So it composed of grade 7 students, grade 8 students, grade 9, grade 10, and grade 11 students. So it is a complete enumeration of all the mathematics uh, teachers and the students. Of course, within the methodology of this paper, we have this what we call ethical consideration. There is this informed consent and privacy. So in the conduct of this study, the students were not forced to be part of this study of teaching styles of mathematics teachers, its correlation to students' academic achievement. So participants were informed before the conduct of this research. Okay, same is true with privacy. All personal information of the participants were kept confidential and did not reflect to their mathematical performance in school. Okay. The data gathering procedure, of course, a letter was addressed to the principal. So I will no longer discuss this so that we can focus on the result of the study. Okay, so for the data gathering procedure, we follow the protocol, of course, in conducting this research. Same is true with the research instrument. So for the research instrument, within the construction of the test, so the teaching style survey was composed of 30 items. Okay, the researcher used only three variables for the applicability purposes. We have the expert category for the direct instruction and communication style. We have the facilitator category for the collaborative style and ICT-based teaching style. Then we have also the variable delegator, which emphasize the individual and problem-solving style. Okay, so the researcher used the instrument to exemplify the interdependencies among the features, as well as the way teachers can use them to enhance classroom instruction. So basically, the instrument used in the collection of the data was measured using a 5-point Likert scale. So we are very well oriented with the 5-point Likert scale. We have the strongly agree, the agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. Okay, that elicited responses on the effect of teaching style of mathematics teachers to students' academic achievement in mathematics. The constructed instrument was anchored in the ppsd, as what I have mentioned a while ago. The domain one, the content, knowledge, and pedagogy, okay, which was also composed of strands. So within this ppsd, we have the strands, strand 1.1, the content, knowledge, and in application, and its application within and across curriculum areas. Strand 1.2, research-based knowledge and principles uh, of teaching and learning. Strand 1.3, the positive use of ICT. 1.4, strategies for promoting literacy and numeracy. Strand 1.4, strategies for developing critical and creative thinking, as well as other higher order thinking skills. And then we also have Strand 1.5, strategies for developing critical and creative thinking, as well as other higher order thinking skills. Strand 1.6, the mother tongue, the Filipino, and English in teaching and learning. And Strand 1.7, the classroom communication strategies. So again, the creation or the construction of the questionnaire was anchored within the standards of the ppsd. Okay, of course, within the three variables that I have presented to you, the expert category, the facilitator, and the delegator. The validation of the instrument, the teaching style survey was covered the following. Of course, we have the expert, the facilitator, and delegator. Okay. So the items were distributed as follows. So we have five statements for direct instruction, uh, five for communication styles, five for collaborative styles, and five for ICT-based teaching, five for individual style, and five for problem solving. So there was a total of 30 items. So the table of specification, so I come up with the table of specification to assure the fairness of the distribution of content within the scope of the topic coverage. Okay. Now, to determine the face validity of the survey questionnaire, the researcher presented this to the three mathematics experts. Okay. Of course, to elicit the corrections, the comments, and suggestions. So a dry run was conducted to teachers. Okay, I already mentioned this one. I have used this formula, the Cronbach's alpha, to compute for the internal consistency of the items. For the statistical treatment, I utilize the SPSS for the computation of the correlation, okay, or the Pearson, the product moment correlation. So this is the formula. If you're going to compute it manually, this is the formula. X refers to the first variable, Y refers to the second variable. So X here is the teaching styles, and Y refers to the students' academic achievement. For the level of performance, okay, here are the range. Okay, for very high, 44 to 50, high, 31 to 43, average, 19 to 30, low, 6 to 18, very low, 0 to 5. Okay, let's have the presentation. This is the last part of my presentation, and this is the very important part of my presentation. Okay, the findings of the paper. The of course we have the SOP number one. What are the teaching styles of the mathematics teachers? Okay, so for table number one here for direct instruction, so here we can see the mean 4.63. So math teachers agree that I describe myself as a storehouse of knowledge who dispenses facts, principles, and concepts the students need. Okay. The other one is number two, I typically show the students how and what to do in order to master the content. That is 4.73. Okay. And then I assume the role of a resource person who is available to students whenever they need help. That is 4.55. 4.73, I am responsible to define what students must learn and how they should learn it. Number five, I give emphasis to lecturing as a significant part of my way of teaching. That is only 3.45. So meaning teachers are undecided here. But the grand mean for direct instruction is 4.42. Okay. The overall descriptive rating of mathematics teacher under the direct instruction was agree with the grand mean of 4.42. But in the result, we can actually note the importance of uh, how the teachers are responsible, okay, to define what students must learn and how they should learn it. Okay. According to Adams 2019, mathematics teachers should look ahead to the specific concepts students need to master in a specific content, or they demonstrate or model an example in the lesson. So this is very important, I think, that as teachers we have to um, teach them on how to solve a particular problem before You allow them to work independently, or you give them group tasks. Okay, just like in other subjects, in science or in PE, physical education, you have to set your first as a model first before they will do a particular activity. I think that is very important. Okay, but of course, since we are talking about direct instruction here, you have to showcase your competence. Okay, because direct instruction is under expert category. Okay, but the consideration here is we have to showcase first what the students must do when it comes to their solutions in mathematics. I think that is very important. Modeling is very important. For table number 2, for communication style, I give frequent verbal or written comments on the performance of my students. I think this is very important. We have to provide the feedbacking to our students. So based from the result, 4.27 is the mean. So meaning to say, math teachers really agree within this kind of statement that deals with communication style. Another is I give students constructive feedback when their performance is unsatisfactory. So it's very important that we do not sugarcoat the performance of our students. We have to give constructive feedback, because from the constructive feedback, they will be able to realize what are the room for improvement. Okay? And then aside from this is I spend time communicating with students on how to improve their work. So I think one of the indicator of a great teacher is how he or she communicate with the student. Okay, how the teacher share his or her time for the improvement of the student, especially when we are giving remedial sessions or enrichment activities to our students. That's very important. And then I show respect and sensitivity to diverse learners through effective use of language. As what I have mentioned a while ago, the use of language is very critical as well in the delivery of our lesson. As you deliver that kind of language, are you showing that sense of respect and sensitivity within the diversity of our learners? So here, the result is 4.73, meaning to say the mathematics teachers do agree within this statement. Same is true with I avoid embarrassing or belittling students. Okay, 4.45. Okay, so according to Tomlinson 2011, respecting students means concerning them with special attention, honoring them, showing consideration toward them, appreciating them, relating to them, admiring their strengths, and being kind to them. This is because many among of mathematics teachers monitored the academic performance of their students. So along with this respect and sensitivity in the use of language. So mathematics teachers should give frequent verbal and or written comments on the performance of students, which got a mean value of 4.27. But in general, the overall descriptive rating of mathematics teachers under communication style was agree with the grand mean of 4.56. Next is collaborative style. Okay, for collaborative style, I employ small group discussions to help students develop their ability to think critically. I think small group discussions are really helpful, not only in uh, other English subjects, science subjects, but also in mathematics. This is under collaborative style. So based on the result of the study, 4.82 is the mean. The next statement is I guide the students on their group project by asking questions, exploring options, and suggesting alternative ways to do things. Okay. So if you are eliciting this collaborative style, you allow your learners to explore other options. Let's say in math, you allow them to explore other solutions, just like what we are doing within my laboratory school students. I allow them to explore a lot of strategies, improving, let's say, trigonometric identities. So other topics, so you can always explore options. Okay, because by exploring other ways or options, we can actually elicit the creativity of our students. And then I provide clear guidelines for group work in class. Okay, so I think clear instructions is very important or substantial in dealing with collaborative style. Okay, and then I respond appropriately to non-engaged students. What are we doing when students are not engaging inside the classroom? Okay, are we implementing this kind of favoritism mentality wherein we always cater the genius ones? How about those students that are left behind? Okay, so I think it's very important, especially in mathematics, that we have to respond appropriately to non-engaged students. Okay, and then I encourage students to develop their social skills. That is one of the highlight of collaborative style. We have to encourage them to develop their social skills. Okay, so I think based from the result of this study, all of the mathematics teachers agree within these statements under collaborative style. And so we have to emphasize, according to Clifford 2018, that collaborative learning teams are said to develop higher level thinking and improve mastery than students working individually. This is due to the fact that not all concepts discussed by mathematics teachers can be understood by the student. So probably the relationship of one student to another student when it comes to their academics is really important. That's why we have to develop this sense of camaraderie within our instruction. Okay. Next, for table number 4 is ICT-based style. Here are the statements which, based from the result of the paper, according to the mean, okay, all teachers agree that the positive use of ICT develop the students' higher order thinking skills of the students. I present helpful audio visual materials to support lesson organization and major points. I use ICT to stimulate the interest of my students in learning. I maintain students' attention by using interactive software or application. And I use ICT to encourage students to take initiative and responsibility for their learning. ICT now is really important because we are facing pandemic. Okay, according to Majumdar 2006, the 2006, the main importance of ICT infusion in pedagogy should enhance learning, motivate, and involve learners, foster inquiry and exploration, and produce a new learner-centered learning environment. Let's have individual style. So I think mathematics teachers also agree within these statements. Let's say we have I provide opportunities for students to apply content, problems, researches, and practice through individualized activity. I motivate students to set their own pace for completing independent projects or researches. I encourage students to develop their ability to think and to work independently. I provide students clear guidelines on how to work with school projects independently. I provide students an individualized activity that suits their learning interests and needs. So I think there is a restriction here that even though we are applying individual style, we have to be careful with the activities that we are giving. First and foremost, it should be suitable to their learning interests and needs. Okay, that even though we facilitate learning, we have to be careful with the activities. Are they uh, suitable to their learning interests and needs. As emphasized by Boinia et al. Of 2014, teachers teaching mathematics in an individualized style and embracing features of discovery, situated learning, and a distinct learning plan obtain a good results with their students. Okay, so we can actually promote active learning, critical and analytical thinking among students. That is, I think that is one of the highlight of individual style. When you allow your learners to work independently, you are developing their critical and analytical thinking skills. Table number 6. The result here is all mathematics teachers agree that they should elicit students' ideas about the problem through several meaningful solutions. So, meaning to say, we do not box them in one particular solution. We allow them to explore other solutions. And then I ask questions that require varying levels of thinking, like recalling, analysis, synthesis. And then I ask students to generate their own explanations and justify their thinking. So for problem solving style, it's very important that aside from the solutions that they come up within this problem, we have to allow them to explain and justify their thinking. Okay. And then I describe my approach similar to a manager who delegates tasks and responsibilities in solving a particular problem. And then I encourage students to be systematic in formulating meaningful solutions. So the result, the findings are really clear that math teachers really agree within this particular statements about the importance of problem solving style. Okay, according to Erickson, mathematics teachers are highly motivated to give their students correct problem solving situations where the students can work on solving unique problems. Okay, so for problem solving style, we're actually developing this kind of flexibility and innovation on the part of the teacher. For the level of academic achievement of students in mathematics, we have this table. For the level of performance, it's for very high performance or achievement, we have 60 students. That is 2.24%. For high, we have 702. And a lot of our students, a lot of the students in this particular study are within the average level of performance, 1,897. That is 70.68%. And we have low level of performance, 23, very low, 2, for a total of 2,684 students. So here we can see that the students, majority of the learners are said to be average. Let's proceed with the relationship of teachers, teaching styles, and students' level of academic achievement in mathematics. So here we have direct instruction, which is not significant. Communication is not significant. Collaborative is not significant, meaning to say we accept the null hypothesis, okay, that there is no significant relationship between the teaching styles and the students' academic achievement. But here we can see that problem solving style is said to be significant. Okay, meaning to say, let's have the explanation for this. So as illustrated on uh, table, 5 teaching styles had no significant relationship to students' academic achievement in mathematics because the computed RS exceeded the alpha level. This indicates that the null hypothesis had to be accepted. So direct instruction with R value of negative 0.565, the communication style with R value of negative 0.471, collaborative style with R value of negative 0.481, ICT-based style with the R value of negative 0.250, and an individual style with R value of negative 0.354 had no correlation to students' academic achievement in mathematics. Only problem-solving style with R value of negative 0.775 and alpha level of 0.05 was significant to students' level of academic achievement in mathematics. What do we mean by this kind of result or findings? Okay, this means that the mathematics teachers should develop their skills in using problem solving style so that students could apply mathematical concepts in a given worded problem. I think this is very relevant nowadays that a lot of the problems in mathematics involves on the aspect of how students solve worded problems. While it's true that students are good in solving numerical problems, but if you translate these problems in a day-to-day basis, apply them in a worded problem, a lot of students fail. So as math teachers, what are we going to do? We have to develop, okay, the skills of our students when it comes to problem solving as we elicit problem solving style. So I think it is not just about direct instruction, the expert category, the communication that I have presented to you, the ICT base, the individual style, but how do we allow our students to solve different uh, problems, and how as teachers, as math teachers, how do we apply problem solving style, because this is very relevant today. Even though we are facing pandemic, we have to develop the sense of problem solving skills of our learners. And so mathematics teachers should improve the following. You have to ask questions that require varying levels of thinking. Uh, you have to recall, analyze, synthesis, ask students to generate their own explanations and justify their thinking. So we do not just allow them to solve and solve. You have to allow them to explain and justify their thinking. Okay, describe my approach similar to a manager who delegates tasks and responsibilities in solving a particular problem. Encourage students to be systematic in formulating meaningful solutions. Teachers must participate in meaningful seminars and workshops to improve their problem solving style. So, in general, only the problem solving style had a significant relationship to students' academic achievement. And so, for the implication, okay, it's very important that as we move on with the slides, because I know it's already time, but I have already shared to you the main result of the study. Let's focus on the last part of this paper, the recommendations. So based on the research finding and conclusion, the researcher highly recommends the following. Number one is we have to establish this what we call continuing in service training programs to make the teachers aware of the new approaches in teaching mathematics, master the content to be delivered, master the methods and techniques of delivering the content, and enable them to develop the use appropriate teaching style. Number two, teachers' enthusiasm along with the different teaching styles adds up to the power of teaching and makes learning enjoyable. Okay. And administrators should observe the use of teaching styles in mathematics in different levels of education during their monthly supervision to gain information on the usefulness and effectiveness of a teaching style in a particular learning unit. Heads of academic institutions must encourage the sponsor webinars and trainings on proposal values in experts on the field as part of their value development program. Further research on other teaching styles should be experimented by the teachers. Okay, so I hope you have learned something in our session. So thank you so much for your time.
That is actually vast, Sir Mark. You talk about the different teaching style along with or in the content of your research. Thank you so much, sir. We learned so much about that research, and you even talk about you even defined what research is and the importance of research as a catalyst of change, uh, as a link basis for change. And you made mention of the different approaches, teaching strategies, teaching styles of of a teacher that a teacher must possess. Okay, it's really important for us teachers to face our students and teach all the things that they need to know, but make this teaching enjoyable for them, not making them or not forcing them to learn. Really, I understand that mathematic teachers actually is not that easy to make students understand, especially now during this pandemic time. um, I think that mathematics is learned or must be learned in a face-to-face basis because it's too difficult for us to learn math or numbers using modules or via online only. So we really need, as a teacher, we really need to possess the different styles so that we can be able to reach the needs of our students. And I am very much amazed, sir, because in your study, in your research, all of these things were presented, and it's really amazing to know that
Thank you, ma'am.
there are mathematic teachers who are very much concerned about, like one of your style there that you have mentioned is the communication style, which is we really need to be careful in presenting the different language in order to reach our students well. So thank you so much, sir, for that very intelligible talk this evening. I'm sure that our audience learned so much from Sir Mark, and probably when you will have time, you will again review this this show and this webinar in your own learning. Okay, so moving forward, Sir Mark, thank you so much,
Thank you
and
so much.
yes, we have learned. I know that the audience have learned so much from your talk tonight, I should say. Okay, so moving on to our next activity. Um, I think that we will be having questions later on. The audience or the participants will be asking questions, and I am very sure that Sir Mark is readily available to answer them. Okay, so while waiting for the questions to come in, All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to collect your e certificate from our website or by the link mentioned below. All right. After the session, after collecting the e certificates, don't forget to celebrate with IGP by check in. Okay. By your check in, we can understand your services, our services, I should say, your attachment and pleasure. We hope to see you all again in the upcoming webinar. Until then, okay, we will be having our question and answer. Are there any questions raised from our audience so that I believe that Sir Mark will be answering them? Okay, so from J. Iman Subusub, okay, Jester J. Iman Subusub. Good evening, Sir Mark, from Taguig City University. What will be the best way to teach mathematics in the spectrum style while we are in pandemic? Again, from Jester, okay, J. Iman Subusub. Sir Mark from Taguig City University, what will be the best way to teach mathematics in a spectrum style while we are in pandemics? Sir Mark.
Okay, thank you for that question. That question is really striking. But if we're going to look into the findings of the research paper that I have presented to you, the highlight there is we have to give emphasis more on the problem solving style. I understand that as math teachers, especially in this pandemic, we can have the expert category wherein we can have the direct instruction, the lecture type of styles that we are doing long time ago. And then we can also have this communication style, the manner we use our language. And then facilitator, wherein we can have this collaborative style when we are dealing with the students. And of course, the ICT based style that I have presented to you. For the delegator category, I have presented to you the individual style and of course the problem solving style. But based on the findings of the research, uh, we can see the importance of providing our learners the meaningful activities, specifically on the problem solving aspect, because I think we have to develop the higher order thinking skills of our students. It's not enough that we teach them how to add 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, but we have to teach them how to translate these numerical concepts into practicalities, because mathematics without application is useless. That is my philosophy in teaching mathematics. And so it is evident in the research paper that as math teachers, especially in this pandemic, we have to develop that sense of problem solving skills among our learners. And how do we do that? Of course, for the pandemic, there are schools that cater this what we call online distance learning. For online distance learning, we can provide e-modules, electronic modules, and along with these electronic modules, please do emphasize in these materials the importance of giving contextualized and localized problems that they can solve. Okay, when I say contextualized problems, the problems that we are giving to them should be related to their experience so that they can relate uh, their uh, their understanding within those problems, and it should be localized, meaning to say it doesn't uh, we do not remove the identity that they have. Let's say they are said to be belonging to a particular group of ethnicity, of a certain race, being a Filipino, for instance. So there has to be what we call localization and contextualization within the material. Aside from the online distance learning, is we have this what we call modular distance learning, or the printed ones. So, but same concept. even though we have the different kind of modalities, still it's very important in the pandemic times that we have to develop the problem solving styles of our learners. Because look at the result of the PISA. If you are aware of the PISA results under the science and mathematics education, Philippines rank below when it comes to science and mathematics. I think it's not just the Philippines but other Asian countries. But based on the research, other researchers, they have seen that when teachers apply problem solving style, we allow our learners to be more higher when it comes to their thinking. Thank you so much for that question.
Okay, so there you go, sir. A problem solving style is rated according to Sir Mark. Okay, so it's a direct problem solving. All right, another question, sir. Good evening from Mom Evelyn uh, Waperi. I'm sorry. Good evening, sir. What suggested activities that will help students improve problem solving for those do not have gadgets? Thank you, sir. Again, what suggested activities that will help students improve problem solving for those who do not have gadgets, sir?
Okay, so in the teaching spectrum, I'm glad that you are all asking about problem solving style because that is the highlight or of the result or the findings of the research that I have presented to you a while ago. Now, as what I have mentioned, it is not only all about online distance learning where we apply problem solving style, but also for schools that do not have this kind of internet connectivity. That is the reason why students have this kind of self-learning modules or learning activity sheets. So as teachers, how can we apply this problem-solving style? Of course, as teachers, since we are dealing with the modules, you have to make sure that it should be contextualized and localized. Meaning to say, when they read these problems, they will understand it clearly what the instruction is all about. Okay? Because some of the materials that we are using are not really suitable to their level. So I think as math teachers, we have to be considerate with the problems that we do right within this learning activity sheets. Otherwise, our students will become confused. Okay, so those are other options. So we can do um, interesting stories. Okay, there are some ways that we can actually develop the problem solving skills of our learners. That is when we apply stories that could actually develop their skills by effective writing, of course, as math teachers. We are guided with the standards of writing these materials. Okay, so problem solving style can be applied not only with respect to the usage of gadget or without gadget. So we can always be flexible with that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Mark. Ma'am Evelyn, I hope your question is answered. It is clearly said by Sir Mark that it's important for mathematics teachers to meet their students and, to solve problem despite the disconnectivity of internet. Um, we can still, as mathematics teachers, they can still um, solve the problem. Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for answering the questions. um, Sir Mark R. Maglake.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have learned so much from the talk of Sir Mark this evening, and it could help you in your life and on your own career growth. Okay. So, as we go on, you can claim your certification um, with what is flashed on the screen today, March 3. Do not forget the date. And then for our code, IGP 2876. Without the code, no one is eligible for the certificate. Okay, so it is important. Today's certification process, www.eduigp.com. You can claim your certificate on that link. And do not forget the code IGP 2876. As I have said a while back, without the code, no one is eligible for certificates. With code, you can claim your certificates anytime. Okay? So you can claim your certificates later on. And do not forget to uh, type the correct code and the date, of course, March 3. Okay? And thank you for supporting IGP. Um, I repeat again, do not forget collecting your e-certificate from our website or by the link mentioned a while ago. Okay, so we understand that we are here to feed our mind, and with all the talks that is being shared a while ago, I hope that you have learned so much. Even me, I have learned so much from Sir Mark also. So once again, thank you so much, IGP family and all the technical team as well. Thank you so much, and thank you for giving me the chance to be a host in this webinar. So stay happy, stay safe. I am your host, Maria Cristina Asbucan from the Philippines. Signing out. Bye bye. Bye bye.